Well, welcome back, and we're joined in the studio by Coach Rob Orr. Coach, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
So you just come back from America from what sounded like an amazing experience with FBU Europe. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, going back to the time when you found out you were going to be part of the programme all the way back at the last Stirling camp, and now going through to the time you've had your games, you've been over there. What's this whole journey been like for you?
It's been quite incredible, actually. I think when we managed to convince FBU to hold a camp in Scotland, and to do it at Stirling, I think that was probably for them and for us, it was quite a risk. But we were pretty sure that there were enough young people in Scotland and the north of England who would be prepared to travel. As it happened, I mean, young people came from all over the country and from deep down the south as well. And that was just an amazing opportunity for them and for the coaches that attended as well, to be coached by NFL caliber coaches. And yeah, and it kind of led full circle to where we got to in San Antonio.
Yeah, so you had a couple of matches out there, starting off with a Canadian side. It was a good start to the game, scoring right at the beginning, but then unfortunately losing out. But it must have been a good chance for your players to get together, that first full game together, and learn a few things. It
was tough. I mean, I think we had 6 hours out there. I think when I got asked to be part of the coaching staff, which I have to say was probably more to do with hosting the camp than any knowledge on my behalf. But nevertheless, I mean, I jumped at the chance just because of the coaching staff that were going to be around it. We knew it would be tough because we had 6 hours to try and get ready for BC Canada, and that team as a team have been practicing together for a long time, about 11 months. So we knew that was going to be a tough gig. But we also knew that, you know, we had some of the best players from the various national programs in Europe playing with us. And we knew that if we could just get them to gel, we would be able to give a good account of ourselves. I think in the first half we probably surprised them quite a bit, and it was a very close game. But in the second half, their adjustments were better than ours, and just their level of experience took over. I think the guys were probably quite disheartened about that after the game. But subsequent to that, they played America, and they also handily beat America as well. Sorry, FBU USA team. So I think that proved to our young people that we didn't do as badly as perhaps what they thought we had, and perhaps what other people thought we had as well.
Yeah, and you talk about showing people a little bit of a surprise. You then followed up with a game against Mexico, which a lot of people said you probably would have lost that one as well, but actually turned out a nice victory. So just showing people what you're...
They did, and the FBU Mexico team have been together for a very long time as well. I think a lot of their players played in the tournament when it was for ninth graders, so it was, you know, from 15 onwards, and they were playing against us, and they're a very hard physical team as well. The Mexicans know how to hit, they know how to tackle. But yeah, we'd had some extra practice time from then, from the BC game, and we also had some film time that we needed desperately to just tidy up some stuff. And yeah, that made a big difference. We were pretty confident going into that game. I think by that point the team knew what to expect. They knew the speed of the game, how much faster it would be, how much more intense it would be. And like I say, just that extra practice time really paid dividends for us, and we came away with a victory.
Yeah, it's a nice little round off to the tournament, and sets it up nicely for the first time you've been out there, and get the guys through that experience. But obviously it's going to be a big step for a lot of these kids to travel internationally, play in front of large crowds. I know a lot of scouts were there as well, so you know, a little bit of pressure on them. How did they handle the whole experience as a team?
I thought they handled the experience brilliantly. I mean, there was lots of things laid on for them. There were a lot of distractions for a team. I think, you know, they were being whisked here to meet NFL players. They were being whisked here to listen to ex-NFL legends talk about what it takes to make it. They got taken to a practice, so they got to see the best players from the Army All-American All-Star teams. They saw them practice, and they saw the standard and the tempo of that practice. They were given some extra time on Hogmanay, as we call it, on New Year's Eve, to see the fireworks display in San Antonio itself. So they did that, and there were various other things. The day of the All-American game, which was actually the day we were playing the All-Star game, that we were playing Mexico. They also had an opportunity to go to that game and walk out in front of 40,000 people and be welcomed to everyone. And on top of that, at all of our practices, there were coaches there from other teams, and there were scouts there, and there were people just in general hanging around and asking questions and taking photographs. But I thought they handled it remarkably well. It was an amazing opportunity for them. It really was, for anyone to be able to be out there and really be immersed in the football that way. I thought it was a fantastic opportunity for them, and they dealt with it really well.
Oh, well, it was great to hear, and great that they get a chance to experience what it's like over in the US, and a step above what they might experience here. And now they're back. A lot of them are currently playing university ball. A lot of them some of them are getting ready for our senior ball. But whilst you were away, we had the big let's call it discussion around the FBU and IFAF integration. So what are your thoughts on the whole subject?
I think the politics are probably above my pay grade. They're probably left best to other people. But speaking from my own personal experience, what I know is this. It seems incredible to me that any governing body, be it a local governing body, a national governing body, an international governing body, would want to take away an opportunity for young people playing an amateur sport to have an opportunity to play that sport anywhere in the world. I understand that the national governing bodies need to protect the brand, if you like, of the national teams, and I completely understand that. But that's not what this was about. The Army All-American Bowl has been long established. It's been going on for very many years, and Team USA, i.e. FBU USA, has been played in that tournament year after year after year, and lots of those players play for the Team USA team, the national team for the USA, and there doesn't seem to be any sanctions whatsoever taken against them. So I find it really disappointing when people who frankly should know better become negative about giving young people an opportunity to just go and play the sport that they love and that we love. When I was their age, if I'd had that opportunity to go there and get the level of exposure they got and the level of professionalism that they got to see, I would have jumped at the chance, and who are any of us to take that away from them, to take that away from any young person who wants to do that. FBU is not for everyone. I mean, it costs some money to go, but then they invest a lot of money bringing NFL caliber coaches here, and they got to get them over here. They got to look after them. They got to feed them. They got to transport them. They got to pay them for being here. But to a man, everyone that I've spoken to that was at the camp in Stirling have all said the same thing to me. It was value for money. They thought the one-to-one tuition they got radically improved their game, and spending time in Europe over the summer as I did, scouting players for the team at the FBU clinics all over Europe. One thing's clear to me, speaking from the UK's point of view, these things are being done in Europe. I mean, in Europe they're happening all the time, and it just seems to me crazy that we're not welcoming with open arms everyone who's prepared to bring across quality coaches like that and help us get better, because they are. We saw it in Holland, we saw it in Austria, we saw it in Germany. We saw it in Belgium. We saw it all over the place, and it's happening. It's happening there on a regular basis. And if we don't start doing that, my fear is that we'll be left further behind. Because we got some great coaches here, and we've got some great players here. I think the university team, the GB University team, has probably got the best coaching staff I've ever seen assembled in this country, and there's some great players as well. But we need to give them as many opportunities as possible to play and to experience playing at a high level, not just for the national programme.
So staying in Stirling, we go back to the domestic game now. We've got the second half of the University League coming up, and the Clansmen had a good start to the year, but a lot of weather delays and sort of postponements and so on. This means this second half is going to be quite tricky.
It will be. I mean, I think we run 2 semesters at Stirling, so we're not due to be back until the 17th of February. The league's asked us to play a game on the 10th simply because there is such a backlog. So that's going to be tough for us. We've got a lot of key players missing for that game. But we just have to soldier on and do as best as we can do.
Yeah, so when is your next game? It's in a couple of weeks, I believe.
Yeah, the 10th of February, Sunday the 10th of February.
Yeah, so I mean, every year we seem to have these sort of weather problems, snow or rain or ice or whatever, and as a coaching staff, it must be really difficult for you to try and plan for this when suddenly all your games from last year happen to be forced into little or no time at all now. So how do you prepare for it?
I think we look at the schedule and we just optimistically hope that we're going to be able to play every game. I mean, I think the league always makes sure that every team has a bye week, but in my opinion, that's completely pointless because they don't give every team a bye week in the same week. So if you've missed a game, the chances are that on your bye week, the team that you need to play in that week are already playing another team. So I think there needs to be some discussion about how we improve on that. But from a coaching staff's point of view, we just hope for the best that the game will go ahead. We moved to our new all-weather field this year, and even the all-weather field wasn't Scottish weatherproof. So the snow managed to beat us. But we just prepare as best we can, and we take every game one game at a time.
So you've got these last few games. What do you expect from the last few games, given that you had such a great start to the season?
I think first of all it's going to be tough for us because, as I said, we're playing our game when half our team are still out of the country. But yeah, I mean, we're going to take one game at a time. We won't assume anything because a couple of the opponents we've not even played yet. So we'll take one game at a time and we'll try our best from that. We never ever look beyond the next game, and I know that sounds like a cliche, but we never do, because a couple of years ago, for instance, Glasgow were looking like they were going to go undefeated in their season, and I think they made it to the semi-finals of the championship run, and they were looking to go undefeated, and we beat them in the last game of the season. So I know we have them this year, the last game of the season, and we beat them 100-7 the last time we played them, but you can bet that they'll be looking for revenge for that. So you can't look beyond the regular season, and we won't be. It'll be one game at a time.
Well, excellent. Well, thanks very much for joining us in the studio and telling us all about your FBU experience, as well as a little bit about the Clans.
Thank you very much. Go Clan.